This is a product review. So welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, obviously, we're doing a product review. As you can see, the bike trail is pretty empty right now. Of course, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday, so most people are in work. So it's not too bad out here today. So I thought it was a good day to come out here and talk about the product that I want to talk about. So most of the time you have a bunch of people on the bike path, right? And you kind of want to signal to them that you are coming. The Brompton has a bell. And let's just face it, that bell is a little lackluster. Most people can't hear it until you're right up on them. And by that time, they may or may not react in the right way. They might turn right into you or they might turn away from you. But one way or the other, they don't hear it until the last possible minute. I think that makes things a little bit dangerous because you can't really anticipate what a person's going to do. Most people are like squirrels. They're going to react whatever way they react. You see how clear this road is? Normally during rush hour, a very busy road. So I'll give you an example of what I mean. When you're riding down this path, there's usually lots of people walking, and they walk all together and they block up the whole path, and the only way you got to signal them is this little bell that hardly makes any noise. Let me show you what I mean.
Okay, here I start down towards the bridge here, and what you're going to see is you're going to see 3 people. And I'm going to start ringing my bell when I get closer to them. And you're going to see the girl in the middle. She hears me, turns around, and she moves over. So here she is, and she moves over. And this guy, I mean, he's just like oblivious. He doesn't even know what's going on. And then he finally gets out of the way after he sees me. And yeah, that's kind of frustrating because then you got to come to a complete stop. And so that just makes the Brompton Bell very ineffective for, you know, signaling people when you're coming by.
The product I got today is one that is a replacement for the regular Brompton Bell. There are better bells out there. You can get these big old honking bells that make a lot more noise, okay? And most pedestrians will hear those unless they're wearing earbuds. If they're wearing earbuds or listening to any kind of music, like joggers listen to music, a lot of pedestrians listen to music, and they don't hear those bigger bells no matter how much noise they make. But there is a product that actually does make a really loud, piercing noise that will be heard even if you're wearing earbuds and listening to music. And that's the one I want to share with you today. The product I want to talk to you guys about today is called the Hornet 140 dB. Now, I got this from Freedom Folding Bikes. Chuck was nice enough to let me try it out. And I wanted to see if it helped my pedestrian problem. And even helps my traffic problem, because that's a problem when you're riding down the road and you're riding alongside the cars and you're in somebody's blind spot, but you can't help being in their blind spot because there's a huge line of traffic, so you're in somebody's blind spot at all times. Will this be heard by motorists as well? So I decided I'm going to give this a try, and we're going to see if this solves my problems. Mainly, I want something that's going to be heard by pedestrians on cycling paths such as this one right here. Okay guys, we found a nice quiet spot to talk about this product for a brief few minutes, then we're going to go do some real world trials. All right, let's take a look at the product itself. It seems fairly simplistic. It has like this loud horn with a button attached to a wire. It has 2 modes. It has a 140 dB piercing mode, if you can see that. And then it has 121 dB horn mode. Interesting. The world's loudest cycling horn. It says, you can see that, get noticed. Get noticed. That's the whole point when you're riding a bicycle, is to be noticed. The thing I like about it the most is it says that it can be heard by all motorists and pedestrians at 140 dB. The remote trigger is safe and easy to use when braking, and is compatible with all bicycles. So we're gonna do a quick unboxing and see what you get inside the box itself. I guess you pull out the whole thing out of the plastic. Hard to do one-handed, by the way. Okay, open up the box itself. Guess that's the trigger And that's the batteries and the instruction manual and booklet. And then I guess this just comes right out the top. So that's what you get in the box. Okay, basic installation is very simplistic. You got these strap buckle mounts that will attach to your handlebars. The same thing with the trigger itself. The trigger plugs into the bottom hole right here, plugs right in, and you basically just stick both of those on your handlebars. You have these two tabs right here, and if you push on those two tabs, you could slide off, and then there's a Phillips head screwdriver. You pull the battery door off, you install the batteries, and you're perfectly fine. It also is beneficial because you could leave this attached to your bike, and you could take the horn off when you go into a store so your horn doesn't get stolen. Okay, now the batteries are installed. We're going to stick this on the bicycle itself. And then you attach your trigger to wherever you want it, and in this case I'm going to put mine right here, and you just strap that in like that. I'm going to tighten it up a little tighter than that. Excellent. And now I'm going to hook up the trigger. Now I might try to figure out some different mounting options for this because it is kind of bulky, just like a bulky bell. But the good thing about this, at least, is you could take it off and take it on really easy when you want to. It's got that quick disconnect. Now, one thing I didn't mention is on the back here there's a button, and I don't know how well you can see that, but there's this button right here, and you press it and it changes the mode. It changes from 140 dB piercing mode to the 120 dB horn mode. That's the button to change those two. So depending on what conditions you're riding in, you may need the piercing mode like in traffic, or you might need the horn mode if you're just on the bike path. Now we're gonna go try this out in the traffic. We're gonna ride on the road with the cars, and we're gonna see if cars can hear this thing. And we're also gonna go on the bike path and signal people from a distance and see if they hear you and they have time to react. Okay guys, we're gonna see what this thing sounds like for the first time. I want to see what this piercing mode actually sounds like, and I want to see what the horn mode actually sounds like. Okay, let's try out the horn mode. That definitely can be heard from a good distance off, especially here in the city where everything echoes. So I like that. And it sounds like a traditional style kind of beeping horn. So yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Now we're going to switch it to the piercing mode and see what that sounds like. All right, let's see what that piercing mode sounds like. Wow, okay. That's pretty cool. That definitely is going to get people's attention. It's kind of like a weird electronic cricket or something. So let's give this some real world testing and see if it actually works well.
Okay, I'm entering the park area here. Now this is a good place to test out and see if I get noticed like the box says. You're allowed to ride bikes in this area, you're allowed to skateboard, you're allowed to jog, whatever. It's a recreational area. Now I'm not going to honk my horn unnecessarily, but there's a couple up here and I'm going to honk my horn because they're kind of veering towards the middle of the road. And as you can see, the guy didn't even turn around. Now these skateboarders are all over the road and I want to try to pass them, right? So I'm going to honk my horn, I'm going to lay on my horn. And that kid didn't even turn around. And see, this kid is just like all over the road and he doesn't turn around. And this is 140 dB. I just don't understand it. It's so aggravating because these people are so oblivious. They're in their own world. I just don't think anything will help, you know, and it's just sad. Okay, I'm going to signal that I'm coming around. See, nobody even turned around. This is just ridiculous. Completely, utterly ridiculous. I'm gonna signal up here. This guy is in the middle of the road. See, he doesn't even start to turn around until I'm right up on him. Like I said, this is just nuts. I'm not even going to go and test this out on the street to give you guys that test. Because if people are not aware of this horn, if I honk this horn and I'm right behind them and they barely turn around or they really slowly respond, what does that mean about drivers? These people are not inside a car. They don't have that insulation, that metal cage around them where it blocks out some of the sound. They're right out in the open and they still respond so slowly. It is the most insane thing I've ever seen. I'm not even going to bother going out on the street and testing this, because if these people can't hear it, then obviously people out on the street in a car, they're not going to hear it either.
This horn is a good horn. Is it very loud? Yes, it's very loud. Yes, it'll capture a good amount of people's attention. Yes, drivers that are paying attention, and yes, cyclists that are paying attention will hear the horn. Okay, but that isn't going to help you in the situations where you get these oblivious numbskulls that are walking down the bike paths or walking in the street or driving cars. These oblivious numbskulls are becoming a majority of the people out there. These oblivious numbskulls don't pay attention to anything. They don't react to anything. So it doesn't matter if you had a horn 2,000 decibels, they probably still wouldn't hear it. So does this horn solve my problem? Not really. It doesn't really solve my problem, but that doesn't mean it's not a good product.
Okay guys, the next day I did get out on the street and I did test out the horn. I even pulled up next to drivers and I honked the horn just to see if they would turn around and look at me, and nobody did several times. And I've just come to the conclusion that this horn is just not very effective. And again, I'm going to emphasize that it is not the horn. It's just the oblivious people that seem to populate Denver, Colorado. And if the horn is not going to get those people's attention, it's kind of useless to me. So it is what it is, and I'm sorry to say that it's not going to be a part of my kit for that very reason. So anyway, if you guys have any comments or questions, leave it down in the comment and questions section. Slap a like on the video if you like it, and I will catch you guys on the next one, guys. Until then, bye-bye.